Good morning, students. Today I will be talking about application of convolution. Application of convolution. Application of convolution.
The screen is blurred, sir.
ಕಾಣ್ತಾ ಇದೆಯಾ ಈಗ? 1 minute.
Yes, sir. Better.
1 minute. Data problem may be there. Is it okay now? Application still it's not so good. Data problem. Is this okay now?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, right. So now, actually, what is that we did is a majority of the books and all what they do is they'll start with the heading something like the chapter name is LTI system and all they'll do it. And in the LTI system, they used to do convolution. But what my method of approach is first I'll teach you the convolution. Once we get the convolution concept, then what is the application of convolution I'll teach. So that I'll go in the reverse manner, so that you can easily apply for the where exactly you're using the convolution. Now, application of convolution to LTI systems. LTI means linear and time invariant systems. Time invariant systems. Invariant systems. Linear and time invariant systems. LTI systems we can call it as, right? So, what is the meaning of this LTI systems? How exactly? What is linear? A system is said to be linear if it satisfies superposition principle, which includes additivity as well as homogeneity property that I said in the beginning of the what is that this chapter itself. Properties of the system, linear. Next, time invariant system is nothing but what? Any shift in the input will produce the corresponding shift in the output. That's what time invariant. Applying both of them, and if the any system is satisfying both linearity as well as time invariant property, such kind of systems are known as linear as well as time invariant systems. So practically this will, what is that? LTI systems are very, very important. LTI means what? Linear. Now onwards I'll talk LTI only short form. It is linear as well as time invariant systems. How exactly we can do it? Let us consider a system. Let us consider a system. Let us say y of n is the output, or y of n is the discrete. I'll take it. Y of n is the output. X of n is the input. T dot is the operator. T dot is nothing but transfer function. Transfer function. So output is nothing but what? Transformed function, transformed version of the input. So therefore, y of n is nothing but transform function of x of n. We can write this dot is the operator. T dot is the operator. In place of dot, we put what is that? X of n. So output is nothing but modified version of the input. We call it as T of x of n. Okay, right. So how exactly we can do this? Okay, right. Let us consider the input. I'll consider the input. Some discrete time signal. What is that we have is something like this: 0, 1, different like this. Okay, 0. So this is my x of n. This x of at 0, the amplitude I'll call as x of 0. X of 0 can be positive or negative. In this case, it will take positive. Next, at 1, the amplitude is x of 1. Don't write, say, so it is minus x of 1. Sorry, x of 1 is, it can be negative. So the x of 1 indicates amplitude at, see, x of n is the, this is n axis. So when you put n is equal to 0, amplitude at 0 you will get. When you put n is equal to 1, amplitude at 1 you will get it. Amplitude at 1 is x of 1. It can be negative. X of 1 can be minus 2 or minus 3 or minus 1. Okay, right. Next, x of 2 is nothing but what? At 2, amplitude is what you call 2. Put n is equal to 2. At n is equal to minus 1, amplitude I'll call it as x of minus 1. At minus 2, amplitude I'll call it as x of minus 2. Like this we can write. So any discrete time signal, okay, any discrete time signal can be represented as what? Input. I am representing input. Input can be represented as input. Whatever we are giving, no, that we call it as input. Whatever we are taking out, we call it as output. So input x of n can be written as what is that? At 0th, what is that? This is nothing but equal to 0th element. Okay, what is this one you call? Element at 0, what do you call? X of 0, whose amplitude is equal to what? X of 0. At 0, amplitude is what? X of 0. How will you represent a element? A delta function. It is a delta function with amplitude 0. Okay, x of 0. How will you represent it? We all know that. What is that? You can write it. Let us say if you have a delta function at 0, its amplitude is 1, what do you call? Delta of n. If the amplitude is 2, what do you call? At 0, 2 into delta of n. If the amplitude is minus 2, what do you call that? At 0, minus 2 into delta of n. Like that we can take it. So therefore, what is that? You can write it. X of n can be written as what? X of n can be written as this element. This element is nothing but what? At 0, what is the amplitude? X of 0. Delta function at that 0 is nothing but what? Delta of n. Delta of n is the function which exists at only one, exists at 0 only, whose amplitude is x of 0 plus. Okay, right? Better to write in the both the formats. Right? Observe it carefully. Arrange it. So x of 0, x of 1 is equal to x of 0 into what? Delta of n, we can write it. Okay, right. Next element. Element at 1, delta function at 1, what do you call? Delta of n minus 1. A delta of n shifted by an amount equal to 1 unit. What do you call? Delta of n minus 1. And what is the amplitude at 1? X of 1 plus x of 1 plus Delta function at -1, what do you call? Delta of n plus 1. With amplitude, what is the amplitude? X of -1. Delta function at 2, what do you call? Delta of n minus 2. With amplitude, what do you call? X of 2. Similarly, delta function at -2, what do you call? Delta of n plus 2. With amplitude -2. Plus so on. Plus so on. Okay, right. So this kind of function x of n is equal to what is that? You can write it summation, adding all of them, plus is there, no? Summation. This you can write it as x of k, generalize that, x of k into delta of n minus k. For k ranges from where to where? K ranges from -infinity to +infinity. Okay, right. You check it. Put k is equal to 0. K is equal to 0 means what? X of 0 into delta of n. This one you will get it. Put k is equal to 1. Put k is equal to 1. What will you get? Delta of 1 into x. Delta k is equal to 1. Delta of 1 into x of 1 into delta of n minus 1. This one. Put k is equal to -1. X of -1 into delta of n plus 1. This one. Put k is equal to 2. X of 2 into delta of n minus 2. Put k is equal to -2. Delta of -2 into x of -2 into delta of n plus 2. Like that we can. So any input signal can be represented as in this format. In one of the papers, prove that input is equal to this much, they said, and 4 marks. Only see, this is only, it's not the derivation. In one paper he has given, show that any arbitrary signal x of n can be represented in this format. For that itself he has given 4 marks. Actually derivation not yet, just now only started. Only this much he has asked. Further we will continue with this. Okay, right? So only up to this point, once we have seen this in the examination. Okay, right. Next, but rarely there is only once we have seen this. Further continue. So in one paper he has given like this. Next, she come back to the now. What is y of n? Y of n is equal to what? Transfer function of what? X of n. Y of n is equal to transfer function of x of n is nothing but what? X of n is nothing but we don't know. Summation k varies from -infinity to +infinity. X of k into delta of n minus k. Okay, right. So now what is that? You can write it. This can be written as what? Summation k, transfer function of summation k varies from -infinity to x of k into delta of n minus k we have. Now you apply the properties. What is that property? So now what is that? You can write it. Linearity. Linearity is nothing but what? It should satisfy the additivity as well as homogeneity property. Okay, right? So therefore, what is that? You can write it. This can be written as y of n is equal to this transfer function can be written as what? This transfer function. So t is outside, summation is inside. Okay, right. So how exactly we can analyze this one? Observe here. Example I will give it. Let us say transfer function of additivity property a into x of n. Transfer function of a into x of n is what? A into transfer function of x of n. One thing. Second thing is transfer function of x of x1 of n plus x2 of n is equal to transfer function of x1 of n plus transfer function of x2 of n. Okay, right. So this is combined together. This is homogeneity property. This is additivity property. Combined together, we call it as what is that? Superposition principle. Superposition. This is nothing but what? Combined together, what do you call that? Linearity, we say. What is our definition says? A system is said to be linear if it satisfies superposition theorem, which includes additivity as well as homogeneity property, we said. So this also should be satisfied. This also should be satisfied. Next, time invariant is nothing but what? Time invariant is nothing but what? Time invariant. So time invariant is nothing but any shift in the input. Okay, right. What is that? We have y of n is equal to transfer function of x of n. If there is a shift in the input, output also will have the, okay, that is nothing but equal to what? Transfer function of x of, so replace, what is that? Any shift in the input will produce the corresponding shift in the output. If there is a shift in the input x of n is shifted by an amount equal to n naught, output also will be shifted by an amount equal to n naught. So that's what the meaning of shifting property. What is time invariant property? Now you apply this one. Y of n is equal to, okay, right. So see that transfer function is outside, sum is inside. This plus is inside, no. Transfer function is outside. Can be replaced by what? Transfer function is here and plus is outside. Okay, right? So therefore, what is that? You can write it. Now you see here. So first, what you should do? Transfer function is there outside. Now this is summation is nothing but plus now. So apply that property. What is that? So by applying the property, summation k varies from minus infinity to plus infinity. Transfer function of x of k into delta of n minus k. This property we called as additivity. Additivity. What is the meaning of additivity? Additivity is nothing but what? Additivity is nothing but transfer function of x1 of n plus x2 of n. So plus is inside, transfer function is outside. Now transfer function of x1 of n, transfer function of x2 of n, plus is outside. Now same thing I did it. Plus is nothing but what? Summation only, no? So the difference, as I said in the earlier, summation and plus both of one are the same. Plus is nothing but plus. Summation is nothing but plus 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 plus. That means adding more than one time for the different values is nothing but what? Summation, right? So therefore, what is that? You can write it. Summation k varies from minus infinity to plus infinity. Transfer function of x of k. So transfer. So we can write it as what? Transfer function of summation x of k into delta of n minus k. We said now. Summation we have kept outside. Transfer function I have kept inside. So this is additivity. Next, homogeneity property. What it says? A constant is their amplitude. Transfer function of a into x of n is a into transfer function of x of n. So now this is x of k is the amplitude of delta of n minus k. Therefore, what is that? You can write it. Summation k varies from minus infinity to plus infinity. What is that? You can write it. X of k into transfer function of delta of n minus k. This is nothing but what? X of k is nothing but amplitude of the delta of n minus k, no? So this is because what do you call that? Homogeneity property. Combined together we call it as linearity. Because if this property is satisfied, linear system is what? Linear. Additivity plus homogeneity combined together we call it as what? Linearity. So now system is linear. Now what is should do? Time invariance property. Let us consider a system with input delta of n. Let us say I have T dot is the operator, output I'll call as, let us say input is delta of n. Output is nothing but what you call transfer function of what? Delta of n, no? Modified version of the input. Okay, right. Now, if it is a time invariant system, any shift in the input will produce the corresponding shift in the output, no? So what is that? We can write it. So this output when the input is impulse is nothing but impulse response. That I'll call it as h of n. I'll tell you once again. What is that? Transfer function. Okay, this is the impulse function, or delta function is also known as what? Impulse function. Impulse response is nothing but response of a system when the input is impulse is nothing but impulse response. See the wordings. Response is nothing but what? Output. So he has asked in the examination, define impulse response. In Viva also they'll ask, what do you mean by impulse response? See, answer is there in the question itself. How a system responds for the impulse input is nothing but impulse response. That's what you no need to search for the answer. Answer is there in the question itself. Response is nothing but what output. For what? Output for what input? Impulse input. That is delta function. So impulse response is nothing but output when the input is delta function. On the other hand, if you want to extract the answer from the question itself, we can say that response of the system and the input is impulse is nothing but impulse response. So therefore, that we call it as H of n. H of n is the output of the system when the input is an impulse. C is H of n. Now, if there is a shift in the input, n minus n naught, what is that? You can write it. Transfer function of delta of n minus n naught. What do you call that? It is equal to h of n minus n naught. Why? Because system is time invariant. System is what? Time invariant. Time invariant. What do you mean by time invariant? Any shift in the, see, we have shifted by the input by an amount equal to n naught. Output also shifted by an amount equal to n. Let us say input is having a shift of delta of n minus k. Output is nothing but what? Transfer function of delta of n minus k. This we call it as h of n minus k. So any shift in the input will produce the corresponding shift in the output. Such kind of system is what? Time invariant system. If that is the case, you apply here. We call this as equation number. Apply in equation 1. What is that we said? What is that we said? This system is what? Linear as well as time invariant system. Up to this point, we have applied up to, what is that? Linearity. Now you apply time invariance. Now what is that? You can write it. So this is nothing but equal to what? Summation k varies from minus infinity to plus infinity x of k into transfer function of delta of n minus k. Transfer function of delta of n minus k is what? H of n minus k. Transfer function of delta of n minus k is what? H of n minus k. So have you seen this kind of expression anywhere? It is identified as H of n. Yes. Any doubt? Okay, right. So x of this is nothing but x of k into h of n minus k for summation k varies from minus infinity to plus infinity. This is nothing but convolution now. This is identified as convolution. X of n convolution with what? H of n. That is the output of the system. That means two things we should understand from. What is the output? Okay. Now we carefully understand this one. Observe carefully the wordings. What is this H of n? Output of the system when the input is impulse. That is impulse response we said. And what is this one? X of n is the input. What is this one? So now you take the general output of the system, general system output. Let us say if it is an LTI system, input is X of n, whose impulse response is H of n, and output is Y of n. Then Y of n output can be found by what? Convolution of X of n and H of n. Convolution of what? X of n and H of n. That means if you know the impulse response of a system, I can find the output for any input, arbitrary input. That means if x of n can be anything, for all those things we can find the output by convoluting the x of n with h of n. Therefore, what is the advantage? What is the advantage of convolution? So what is the advantage of the convolution? What is the application of the convolution? Sorry. Application of the convolution is what? It is used to find the output of the system. It is used to find the what? Output of the system, output of an LTI system. How will you do that? 1 minute. Okay, right? See, if you know the output of a system for an impulse response, we can find the output for an. If you know the impulse response of any system, we can find the output of a system for any input, any arbitrary input. What do you mean by impulse? So therefore, what is that you can understand from this? Carefully understand this. See, H of n is nothing but what? Impulse response. Impulse response. What do you mean by impulse response? Output of the system. Output of the system when the input is impulse is known as impulse response. This is a very, very important question. This they will ask in the DSP next semester, in the DSP lab, this examination, everywhere, even if you study image processing also, it's very, very important. Higher semester we use many places, impulse response. So please note that this concept is very, very important. Impulse response means what? Response of the system. Response is nothing but what? Output of the system. Output of the system and the impulse is nothing but what? Impulse response. That we call as H of n. This we call as H of n. Similarly, what is this Y of n? What is the meaning of convolution? So if you know the impulse response of the system, if you know the impulse response of the system, then we can find output of the system for any arbitrary input. For any arbitrary input. For any arbitrary input. Okay, right? So that is nothing but what? By convoluting input with its impulse response. This is very, very important. The statement only will give you the application of the lots of applications. We have this application of this concept in speech processing, image processing, any signal processing. It can be image, speech, whatever, data processing, communication, digital communication, analog communication, everywhere we use it. So therefore, we should understand that this will be the very, very basics of all signal processing concepts. You take any system. Design a system means what? Design impulse response. What do you mean by design impulse response? Design a filter means what? Design the, what is that? Impulse response H of n. That's what the meaning of it. So why do we need to have the impulse response? If you know the impulse response, what we can do? Output is equal to what? Output of a system is nothing but equal to what? Convolution of the input with its impulse response. That means, what is that you should understand from this one? If you know how a system behaves, observe carefully, listen to me carefully. If you know the system, how it behaves for impulse, when you give the delta function, how a system behaves, if you know that, we can find the output or how it behaves for any other input. That is nothing but, what is that? Output of an LTI system or convolution. So convolution, what is the application of convolution now? Application of convolution is what? It is used to find out the output of any LTI system. How will you find out the output of the LTI system? By convoluting the input with its impulse response. What do you mean by impulse response? Response of a system and the input is impulse is nothing but impulse response. These things you should understand. This is the basics. If you know this basic, you can find out the application anywhere. Speech processing, image processing, everywhere you can do this application. For example, let us say you are designing a filter or you are designing an amplifier. Designing the amplifier is nothing but what? Designing the digital amplifier, let us say. What is that we have? Our digital data, we are doing some processing, noise removal, everything. Noise removal, you are designing some system is what? It is nothing but finding the impulse response of the system. finding the impulse response of the system. Finding the impulse response of the system. So therefore, what is that you can understand is, if you know the impulse response of the system, and the meaning of that one is what? If you know the impulse response of the system is how a system responds for the impulse input is nothing but impulse response of the system. If you know how it behaves for impulse input, you can find the output, or if you can find the behavior of the system for any other input. So therefore, impulse response is nothing but what? Response of the system, and the input is impulse, is nothing but impulse response. These wordings are beautiful, and you can extract the definition from the question itself. Okay, right. Now, and what is the application of convolution? Convolution is used to find the output of an LTI system. Yeah, okay. This impulse response is defined only for linear as well as time invariant system, not for other systems. If the system is not linear, this is not applicable. If it is not time invariant, this is not applicable. This convolution output of a system is nothing but equal to. Otherwise, what is the output of general system? Output of general system is nothing but what? Y of n is equal to transfer function of x of n. Output of LTI system is what? See, we cannot apply say x of n convolution h of n. H of n is defined only for the LTI system. If once the system is LTI, see that this is general system. You see this? This is the general system. For general system, y of n is equal to transfer function of x of n. For an LTI system, output y of n is equal to convolution of x of n and h of n. If you convolute x of n and h of n is what? Impulse response. So far, we have not said what is x of n, what is h of n. I said that x of n is one signal, h of n is one signal. Convolute it, you will get the something, you will get it. Y of n, you will get it. We have not said y of n, x of n, h of n, what is it? Simply, I said it as x of n is one signal, h of n is one signal. Convolute it, you will get another signal, we call it as y of n. Now I am trying to give the meaning for all those things. Now we have x of n, h of n, all those things, we have different meaning now. X of n is what? Input. H of n is what? Impulse response. Y of n is what? Output. So find the convolution means what? Finding the output of the system. So this is what we are now. Now we are giving the meaning for whatever I did so far in the last 3 classes. The last 3 classes, simply I have taken different kinds of x of n, h of n, all those things, convoluted, 2 case, 3 case, 5 case, whatever it is. All those things are what? Just simply to teach you how to do the convolution process. How to do convolution, I said. Now I am telling the meaning of all those things. Now I am giving the meaning for all your x of n, h of n, and y of n. X of n is nothing but what? Input of the system. H of n is nothing but what? Impulse response of the system. Y of n is nothing but what? Output of the system. How will you get the output? Find the output of now. I will not say find the convolution. I won't say. Find the output of the system. What you should do? Take that x of n and h of n, convolute it, you will get the output. So for all those, whatever the problems I did, now you say that find the output of the system. For given x of n is equal to, input is equal to this much, h of n is equal to u of n minus 2, whatever it is, we can do that. So that's what we can understand from this one. So this is a very important concept for more than 5 or 6 subjects or 10 subjects. Because all signal processing based subjects are based on this concept only. So you should be very much careful, and very important concept. Impulse response definition is a 100% guaranteed question. Some or the other place. Without this concept, you cannot learn any subject related to communication or signal processing. So therefore, focus on this one, and you can learn this signal processing subject easily. Okay, right. Now let us go for the continuous time system. Same thing, I'll copy it. Continuous time system. Same thing, I'll copy it. And only thing is, summation is replaced by, okay, right? Integration. N is replaced by T. K is replaced by tau. Okay, right? So now what is that you can write? Same thing, I'll take it. Let us consider a system. Just I am replacing it. I'll not tell any new concept. Input I'll call it as x of t. So this is a system, general system T dot. Okay, right? Output I'll call it as y of t, which is equal to transfer function of x of t. Same thing I am copying it. Just observe. y of n is equal to transfer function of x of n. Y of t is transfer function of x of t. Is it right? Now, input can be written as what? Input can be written as what? X of t can be written as x of, see, let us say I have a signal like this, continuous time signal. Okay, right. Let us say you take a function at this point, at 0, what do you call that? X of 0. At 1, what do you call that? X of 1. But in case of discrete, what is that we had? We had signal only at 0, 1, minus 1, 2, 3, 1, minus 1 like that. But here signal will be there here also 0.5, 0.25, 0.125, 0.0125 like. So everywhere signal will exist. Each and every point. So therefore, what is that? We have to add all of them. Earlier, what is that we did it? We have added this element, this element, this element, this element like this. Now we'll have to add at each and every point. Continuous time signal is the one which is defined at all time instants. Therefore, what is that? You can write it. X of t can be directly. Can write it. X of t can be. Use the same formula. Instead of summation. Summation means what? It is going to add only at integer values. Integration. Instead of summation, if you do integration, it will add. Integration also summation only. Adding at each and every point. Integration from minus infinity to plus infinity. X of tau instead of x of k, you can write x of tau into delta of t minus tau into d tau. Same thing, x delta of n minus k. With respect to what? Variation, summation, adding all the values for k. So in summation, we write here k varies from minus infinity to plus infinity. Here we write it as tau varies from minus infinity to plus infinity. See, we write it as minus infinity to plus infinity, varying with respect to tau. So in integration, we write here. Integration is for tau. Adding it for minus infinity to plus for different values of tau. Here, adding it for k varies from minus infinity to plus. Both are on the same. Here, instead of writing dk, what we are writing is summation k varies from minus. Here itself we have missed. That means adding for k varies from minus infinity. Here, adding continuously, integration nothing but what? Adding continuously for different values of tau. So integration is also summation only, adding addition only. But adding at each and every point. Each and every point means what? 0.1, 0.01, 0.001. Every point we should add it with the different amplitudes. That's what the meaning of it. Right? Now, apply linearity and what is the time invariance property? Linearity is nothing but what? Additivity as well as homogeneity property. Okay, right. First you take it as sorry. Y of t is equal to output y of t is equal to what? Transfer function of x of t is what? Integration from minus infinity to plus infinity. X of tau into delta of t minus tau theta. Y of t is equal to. What is that? You can write it. First you apply the additivity property. Additivity property means what? Additivity property is what is that? T is outside, summation is inside. That means summation means integration. Now I'll take the summation outside, t inside. So therefore I'll take t inside, summation outside. Integration from minus infinity to plus infinity. Transfer function of x of tau into delta of t minus tau d tau. This we call it as what? Additivity. Okay. Next you apply what is that? Homogeneity property. Homogeneity property, what is that we said? Transfer function of a into x of n is a into transfer function of x of n. Therefore, this is the magnitude. So magnitude of this one will come. So integration from minus infinity to plus infinity, x of tau into transfer function of delta of t minus tau d tau. Now let us consider a system. Time invariant system. So what we have is, let us say, if there is a system t dot, if delta of t is the input, output is transfer function of delta of t. If delta of t minus tau is the input. So this, if the output for the impulse is nothing but impulse response, we call it as h of t. Okay, since it is a time invariant system, any shift in the input will produce the corresponding shift in the output, t minus tau. This I will call it as h of t minus tau. Therefore, what is that you can write it? Y of t is equal to, substitute this one. Transfer function of the integration from where to where? Integration from minus infinity to plus infinity. X of tau you write as it is. Transfer function of delta of t minus tau is what? Transfer function of delta of t minus tau is h of t minus tau. H of t minus tau. H of t minus tau into d tau. This we know the equation. What is this equation? This is identified as x of t convolution with h of t. So we know this one. So therefore, what is that you can understand? Where h of t is nothing but what? Same meaning. Impulse response. What do you mean by impulse response? Output of the system. This is nothing but impulse response. Impulse response is nothing but what? Response of a system. That means output of a system when the input is impulse. Or still simpler way is what? The impulse response is nothing but output of a system when the input is delta function. Okay. That's what we get. Delta of t when you give it, output is nothing but equal to transfer function delta of. This is we call as impulse response, which is represented by the notation h of t. Right. So this is the, what is that? Output of a system when you for a continuous time system. Right. Now let us go for some of the properties of the system. Some of the properties of the system. Okay, right? So what are the properties? So one of the examination, the question was indirectly asked like this. Show that output of an LTI system is characterized by impulse response. That means output is controlled by what? Impulse. If you change the, if you want to change the output of a system, what you should do? Change the impulse response of the system. Let us say if at all, if it is output is not good, means what? Impulse response system is not good. That's what the meaning of. So therefore, what is that you should understand here is output of a system. Output of a system is depending upon the impulse response of the system. Okay, right. So therefore, what is that you can write it? So output is nothing but equal. If the system is not good, even if the input is very good, we cannot do anything. So output will be weak only, right? So therefore, if the system, for a good output, the system should be good, as well as input also should be good. So therefore, what is that we can say is, for a good system, we should have good impulse response, right? Okay, right. Now let us go for some of the properties of convolution. Properties of convolution. Properties of convolution. Of convolution. Properties of convolution. Properties of convolution in for discrete, let us say. For discrete time system. Okay, right. What is that you can write it? First one is commutative. We have three properties. This proof also we have asked in the 11 marks he has asked. Commutative, what is that? Associative, distributive. Three properties they are repeatedly they are asking in the examination. Commutative. So what is this commutative? Okay. X of n convolution with h of n is equal to h of n convolution with x of n. We have studied all these things in the different places in the mathematics. Same thing only, same property only. In the set theory and all, we have studied the commutative property. There it is union, intersection, and all we studied. Same thing, it is applicable for the word convolution also. So convolution is also a mathematical operation, just like addition, subtraction, intersection, multiplication, all those things. Here, this commutative property is like this. X of n convolution with h of n is equal to h of n convolution with x of n. Take the LHS. LHS is equal to 3 marks question. This is 3 or 4 marks. 11 marks he has asked in one paper. Commutative, full properties. Commutative, distributive, associative, all the three properties. Okay, right? This may be, this part is maybe around 3 marks. LHS. X of n convolution with h of n. By definition, what is this one? summation k varies from minus infinity to plus infinity, x of k into h of n minus k. X of k into h of n minus k. Let n minus k is equal to m. Therefore, k is equal to what? N minus m. K is equal, k you transfer this side, m you transfer this side, n minus m. K is equal to what? N minus m. Now you substitute in this equation. Okay, limit also you change it. When k is equal to infinity, lambda is equal, m is equal to minus infinity because k is having negative sign, no? So we get it. And k is equal to minus infinity, m is equal to what? Minus infinity, m is equal to plus infinity, we will get it. Therefore, y of n is equal to what? LHS is equal to summation m varies from where to where? Minus infinity to, when k varies from minus infinity to plus infinity, m varies from infinity to minus infinity. Okay. X of k is what? N minus m. K is what? So when summation, change the parameters. Summation k varies from minus infinity to plus infinity, m varies from infinity to minus infinity, x of n minus m, h of n minus k. N minus k is what? M. M is a dummy variable now. M is what? Dummy variable. It can be replaced by k, which is equal to summation k varies from infinity to minus infinity or minus infinity to plus infinity are same, no? You will not get negative sign because addition from 1 plus 2 plus 3 or to 1 plus 2 plus 3 or 3 plus 2 plus 1. Both are on the same now. Summation, we don't get negative sign here because 1 plus 2 plus 3 is equal to 3 plus 2 plus 1. Adding from this side or that side doesn't matter. Therefore, k varies from minus infinity to plus infinity. What is that? X of n minus k into h of k is nothing but equal to summation k varies from minus infinity to plus infinity, h of k into x of n minus k. So therefore, what is that? You can write it. This is nothing but equal to, see, x of k into h of n minus k is what? X of n convolution with h of n. Now h of k into x of n minus k is what? H of n into x of n convolution with what? X of n, which is equal to RHS now. Which is equal to what? RHS. RHS is h of n convolution with. Next, distributive property. Second one, distributive. Distributive property is very simple one. X of n convolution with h1 of n plus h2 of n is equal to x of n convolution with h1 of n plus x of n convolution with h2 of n. Okay. So what is the meaning of this one? X of n convolution with h of n and h of n convolution with x of n. What is x of n? Input. H of n is what? Impulse response. Okay. If you know the, see, x of n and h of n convolution with x of n, we said is equal to. The meaning of this one, input and impulse response can be interchangeably used. For example, input is, let us say, u of t. Impulse response is nothing but u of t minus 5. We can interchange it as, we will get some output, let us say. Then you take it as whatever the impulse response, that you put it as input, and whatever the input is there, that you put it as impulse response. So therefore, what is that? You can write it. So this we call it as what? So it's interchange of impulse response and input. So the meaning of this one is input and impulse response can be interchangeably used. Right? So that's what the meaning of it. Next, distributive property. What is that we have is very simple one. LHS is equal to x of n convolution with h1 of n plus h2 of n, which is nothing but equal to summation k varies from, by definition, summation k varies from minus infinity to plus infinity, x of k into, whole thing you treat it as h of n, but h of n is nothing, h of n minus k, we should write now, well, based on the definition, So now what is the decay? This is nothing but equal to what? H1 of n minus k plus H2 of n minus k. Combined together, whole thing is HF. And wherever n is there, replace n minus k, n by n minus k. We said that what is that? X of k into h of n minus k now. Now what is that we have? In place of h of n, we have h1 of n and h2 of n. You multiply it. Summation, multiply and split it. Summation k varies from minus infinity to plus infinity. X of k into h1 of n minus k plus h2 of n minus, x of k into h2 of n minus k. Which is, split it now. Which is nothing but summation k varies from minus infinity to plus infinity. X of k into h1 of n minus k plus, split the summation. Summation k varies from minus infinity to plus infinity. X of k into h2 of n minus k. Which is nothing but what? X of n convolution with h1 of n plus x of n convolution with h2 of n. This we know that. So this is your RHS. This is known as distributive property, right? Okay, I'll stop at this point. We'll continue in the next class with another property, right?